Hey boys, Aniso here, and today we want to talk about carry drafting. Usually as a carry, you're going to pick your hero in the second phase of the draft. This means the enemies and your team already revealed both supports, and you can probably see your offlaner also. First of all, let's talk about the roles, or rather in this case the timings of the heroes. So as you guys can see here, the drafting grid looks a little bit different of what you're used to. For the other guides, we tried to sort the heroes into roles. For example, like pushing heroes, tower defending, ganking, whatsoever. But for this video, we were sorting the heroes into timings, right? Because as a carry, it is really important to catch the right timing for your team. If your team is really bad in the early game and you play a hyper late game carry, you're probably going to lose because you can't do anything in the early game, right? On the other hand, if your team is like really strong in the early game and you also pick a really strong early game hero, and then you're going to miss your timing because people have good high ground defense, for example, you'll most likely lose against the Archron or Spectre in the late game. So as a carry, it is really important to think about timings. When is my team strong? When will I need to be strong? And which kind of hero do I need to pick to fulfill those kind of timings? So first of all, let's understand what do those timings actually mean. Your hero will probably be strong at this point of the game. For example, he will be able to solo kill enemies, he will be able to join fights, or maybe he's just like really strong by himself. For some heroes this means they just reach a certain spell. For other heroes this means they reach certain items. The timings that are listed over here are just average. This doesn't mean like the early game carries will be really freaking good every game in the early game regardless of how the game looks. Right, same for the mid-game carries. Some mid-game carries, they can also be really strong in the early game in some games when they have a really good lane. Or maybe they will still be bad until the late game if their lane was really bad, right? Those are just average numbers according to the items and skills and how strong the heroes usually are in most games at those timings. For the early game heroes, we got heroes that start to become really strong once they have a certain amount of spells or levels. For example, Bloodseeker with the Rupture, Juggernaut with the Omnislash, Lycan with his ultimate. Those kind of heroes, they have a lot of kill potential early on. Same for like the Ursas and Reavers, or they're just really good at sustaining the lanes. The Bloodseeker with the lifesteal and the creeps, Chaos Knight with the lifesteal, Juggernaut with the healing ward, Lycan has inbuilt regen, Ursa just has a lot of kill potential early on paired with the right support such as Crystal Maiden or any stun. And then we got the farming late game heavy heroes. Those are heroes that don't care about getting levels at all. What they need is farm. They need gold, they need last hits, they need items, right? They want to be 4, 5, 6 slotted. And once they reach that certain amount of timing, they're probably solo carrying the shit out of the game. So for the mid-game carries, those are heroes that usually start to become strong at around 15 to 25 minutes. In most games, those heroes need like 2, maybe 3 items, depending on the rest of the heroes in the draft, to become good. For example, Lunar. If this hero gets like Manta style BKB and Dragonlance, you're really strong. Phantom Lancer with Diffusal and 1 or 2 items being, for example, like Heart, Manta style, whatever. Phantom Assassin with a Battle Fury, Desolator and BKB timing it like 25 minutes. Those heroes become really scary. So to figure out what the timing we actually need in a game is, you want to take a look at the rest of your team, especially the supports. There are some kind of heroes, mostly being the healing supports, such as Treant Protector, Oracle, Abaddon, Dazzle, Warlock, right? You can see them here. Those kind of heroes, they are made to save teammates, to help teammates to get a good game, right? Their job in the game is just to help people with Glimmer Capes, with Grave, with Abaddon Shield, with Oracle Ulti, whatsoever, right? It's just... their whole purpose is to stand behind the carry and keep their carry alive, basically. If you get those kind of supports, you should probably pick a late game or maybe a later mid-game carry, right? Just because you will naturally have a way better game, you will naturally gain more farm early on, you will naturally gain a nice farming lane with those kind of support. That's because they offer a lot of healing, they offer a lot of spells to help in the lane. And also just to keep you alive from ganks. Compared to the really greedy supports that we all know, right? That most people are just picking. We all know the freaking Touch guys that rush Dagger or Etherlands first. We know the Lions, the Rubik players. All of them, they rush freaking Blink Daggers, they rush Etherlands, they rush Aghanim Scepters, right? They want to make the big plays, they want to be the one that's daggering into a fight, just one-shotting people with Aghanims, ulti on Lion and getting stacks, right? They don't care about supporting you. They care about themselves being the nice guy that just made a big play and that made the game-winning play, right? They don't want to support you. If you got those kind of supports on your team, let's say supports, right? You definitely want to pick like an early or maybe early mid-game carry. Just because those kind of players, they tend to take a lot of farm. They're not helping you in the early game on average. They're just trying to get a good game, right? They try to farm up their Aghanim, some Keeper of the Light, farming Wraiths. They try to last hit creeps as Rubik for a dagger. They try to only run around ganking people with Pudge. They don't care about lanes, they don't care about you getting farm. They just care about their own game, right? They build freaking Maelstroms on POS 4 or 5 Wind Ranger, right? They don't build Glimmers and 4 stuff. If you face those kind of supports on your own team, dude, please don't take a greedy carry. Please, I beg you, don't take a late game carry. Like, never pick anti-mage if you got like an Pudge and Lion support duo. You'll just lose, right? Like those kind of heroes, they just build greedy items and you will just lose the game before you even reach your timing in the first place. There are still a lot of other things that you have to think about when drafting the right carry. So far, we just decided if we need an early game carry, if we need a late game carry or a mid game carry. Now let's think about other things. I would advise you watch the other videos, the other drafting guides, and then also keep all of those things in mind. I just don't want to make this video too complicated and do like 10 different grids for this carry. This would just be confusing. But you have to keep in mind, you still need to fulfill the roles such as pushing lanes on every draft. You still want like a good team fighter in every draft. You still want a good tower pusher in every draft, right? And if your team is lacking a specific role, your carry should probably try to fulfill that role. Right? You don't want to pick an anti-mage in every game, even though it's a good late game game, if your hero doesn't fulfill the roles that are needed on your team. So please check out the other videos to see the roles. I just don't want to make this video like too complex or too complicated. Also, it is really important to pick a strong lane just to set yourself up to success right from the get-go. If you pick a bad lane and you just fall behind, the game's just way harder to play. So what we want to do is take a look at our POS 5 in the lane and then pick a hero that fits accordingly. For example, kill lanes such as Juggernaut Crystal Maiden with a lot of damage from the spin and disable from Crystal Maiden, Grimstroke with Inkswell on the Riki, and then Jakiro Wraith King just with a lot of damage and control and tower pressure. Or also we could pick like a farming kind of lane with a Warlock Spectre, Medusa Abaddon, Trine Draw Ranger, right? And if you watch closely on all of those lanes, there's always a melee hero and a ranged hero, right? It's either the support being melee and then the carry being ranged, or the support being ranged and then the carry being melee. You don't want to play like dual ranged lanes, you don't want to play dual melee lanes, right? This just makes your game way harder, dude. If you're a support, Already picked a ranged hero? Please pick a melee core. If your support is a melee carry, a melee support, please pick a ranged core. There are so many options. Just think about how those heroes synergize. If you guys want, I can also do another video about more laning combos and just great hero combos and synergies in general. If that's something that interests you, just write down in the comments below. To sum up again, you need to consider the timings of your hero. Does my team need an early game carry? Does my team need a mid game carry? Does my team need a late game carry? Also, please pick for a good lane. If you get yourself a good laning duo, you will just set up yourself for success right from the get-go. You will get more farm, you will probably get more kills, you will die less. It just makes the game so much more easy if you have a good lane. I would love you guys to write down in the comments below if that's something you already thought about. Are you ever thinking about drafting like this? Like, when do my hero need to be strong? When is my timing? Or is that something that's completely new to you guys? Also, do you like to play early game focused carries? Do you like to play mid game focused carries? Or are you one of those farming late game hairy players? Thank you guys for watching, have a nice day.